Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. I think this whole thing of having the waiting screen on is nice. So anyways, I got everything ready. Like, I'm on the ball today. So let's check the charts. So we've had maybe a little bit of an up move in the EVNI, but nothing like huge. But they are pushing highs. And in the Treasuries here, we had some more pushes down, and we pushed down from where we were yesterday. I'm actually quite upset that they waited until we were gone to move down, and that is not uncommon. Here, just before the open, I'm seeing an iceberg on the offer, and I think I would prefer to go short, although it's kind of in an equalized area. So, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if there's actually flow. I don't like to take a trade, just before the open. And we do have the trade balance today. News in 10 minutes. Not necessarily a huge number, but it is going to matter. Let's adjust our seat here. There we go. Get me a little closer to the microphone. There's the wife waking up. Yeah, okay. Okay, so what's this here? What's really going on with Trump and the Fed? MM has been speaking with people inside and outside the White House about the two empty Fed seats, and Steve Moore and Herman Cain. A couple of theories jumped out. One is that Cain drops away and the White House pairs Moore with a more traditional GOP candidate, giving Republicans an easier vote. The other is that the two seats are, in fact, a super low priority and the White House never sends up nominations. This theory holds that Trump is simply having fun with the process and further setting up a scenario in which he can blame any economic slowdown on the Fed by saying the chair, Powell, has screwed things up and he was denied people who would have been better. Okay. That's kind of a weird theory, but okay. Morning, JG Mod. How's it going? Yeah. Okay, so there was a little bit of noise there back and forth on the open, but not a ton. I'm kind of miffed that we were getting the iceberging at 25, and then they tried to pull and suit 24.5, but it didn't do it. And then they started buying again, and they actually bought it up a little bit, but it's not over yet. But I don't think that was the most positive action for me on the fill. So be on edge here a little bit. I think, though, they're going to try and make it seem like it's going to go up. That kind of seems to be the what is the word there? The strategy is stop everybody out, make them all think that we're going to be buying up crazy, and then they sell it. Okay. See, that sort of thing like that is what made me want to sell it. By the way, I forgot to mention, Bitcoin is up. Move back over here. Bitcoin is, they moved back up above 5,200. They had a little bit of a buy late yesterday, but, they're kind of, I don't know. Yeah, it's pretty hard to predict what Bitcoin is going to do from day to day, but it still looks like that they're just always on the edge of like a really big fall, What am I seeing here in the 6J, by the way? Oh, we're very low in the 6J on a longer term chart. There was this kind of a news event here. I think that was like Chinese CPI or something overnight. Kind of created a big dip. Okay, so they did sell it. Not a huge offer, but I'm liking it so far. Then they've absorbed a little bit coming back flow too, so that's good. I like that. I think it shouldn't be too hard for them to move to the bottom of this range, but let's see. Well, there's a decent amount of absorption there, 24. Okay. And they continue to step down. Okay. Somewhat balanced at 23.5. Oh, I have my sound in the wrong spot. Let's fix that. Okay. There we go. Hopefully it'll go into the right place now after that. So block buy at 24. That was a pretty big one. That was pretty big. I'm going to take a picture of that one. Good morning, Lucas. How's it going? That normally a block buy like that would be a signal to me that like we're just going to hang out here for a little while. In fact, I'd say that is kind of a signal is that we're going to hang out here for a little while, and I don't really know if we're going to move on from here or not. The flow is not entirely clear either. My larger setups and everything, I think, say that it's okay as long as I have a tick on it. But it's kind of an odd, it's kind of early in the morning, and it's just kind of an odd spot for it to show up at. And it's kind of against the trend, like we have been selling. So it's a little weird. And it's a really big one too. It was 4K. They bought everything that was on there. So that's kind of weird. Kind of weird, guys. What's going on at 24? I don't know. Well, somebody bought 4K. You can't, here, let me move it out over here. You see that order right there at 24, 4,417 in one order. Hit it and bought it up. This is kind of weird. And before the trade balance news, not that I think that news is one that tends to move us a ton, but it is there, and I do think we need to be aware of it. And it is something that's quite relevant to treasuries, right? And currencies in particular. So see here if in a minute if they decide to pull it all for it. And see, the E-mini is still kind of pushing up. Like, I kind of want to buy it there. I know it's not a good price, but I kind of want to buy the E-mini. I'm gonna wait and see, you know, if at the top of the hour, if they're giving me a good price, I could buy it. That 15K you have marked as from a previous day. Oh, yeah. From a really long time ago, though. But a lot of money is traded here in the past. Which, for us scalping, is not necessarily a good thing, is it? So it just means that there might be a lot of interest here again, and that they might not want to trend too far. Okay, trade balance is negative 49.4 billion versus an expected 53.4 billion. So the trade balance was not as big as expected. So that's generally going to be good. I'm not seeing a huge move in the Japanese yen yet. Okay, they are pulling their 23.5 now though. So that's good. That's really good. Yep, seems like a value price, exactly. I mean, we don't know if it's going to act like a value price again, but it's always good to know where those were and to see if it matters. I think in this case, well, I don't know. When were we here? When were we last here? I think I need to extend some of these charts because they don't go far back enough. If it was a previous contract, for instance, it might not matter as much. And the longer ago it was, the less it matters, unless it was like a really, really key level, like a pivot or something from a long time ago. So I don't, that number might not matter. There's definitely, though, you know, there's definitely a profile to it, though, isn't there? And, you know, right there around those prices, especially here and here. So we're getting down to the bottom of that range. So I'm liking that. We're going to see here when we get the +4, we gotta think about possibly taking it off. Now it's Wednesday, so it's okay for me to go for more if I see it. Okay, so they did take 23 offer, and it's not like just going right away, but it's not like acting super crazy, so okay. I think that this having that there doesn't necessarily make much sense. Good morning, Uzi. Interesting, Bitcoin moving up there on all of that. the yen is moving down with us, but it's just a super teeny tiny move still. Okay. My man, Uzi, yeah. Is a popular guy, that Uzi. Swinging them big lots on the ZB. Everybody wants to be like that. So what I always tell people, because so there was this conversation in one of the e-mini Facebook groups yesterday. And, somebody was talking about, well, I was saying, hey, it seems like there's some products being promoted in here that look like scams. And, yeah, totally forgot where I was going with this, but the point, oh, yes, I remember now. Anyways, and so they were saying, obviously anybody that is out there trying to be like a guru and putting out a ton of material like that probably isn't that good. And I pointed out to them, I was like, well, yeah, like I do the YouTube thing, and it is a lot of extra work, but I'm quite lazy about it. Like I really don't promote our channel that much. Most of our traffic is organic from searches. But like, I'm not the guru. Like most of you guys, I really feel like a good portion of you guys that are like the regulars and speak up in chat are a lot better traders than myself. And I definitely think that Ace and Uzi fit into that category. Uzi has been trading for a long time, and he is very consistent. You do the regular guy thing, right? Well, that's the whole thing. Like, so I was reading something else, and I don't remember where it was, on Reddit somewhere. I don't remember which subreddit. It was probably the day trading subreddit, and he was a Forex guy, but he was talking about, you really got to be careful when you're collaborating, quote unquote, with other traders, because it really messes with you. And you said, like when you're seeking out mentors and things like that, don't look for the people that are just trying to give you straight signals. Totally agree. Like this is more about like support and making ourselves more aware of opportunities or strategies, and kind of getting you in the right direction rather than trying to give you a trade. Because you've got to be with the trade part, you've got to be independent, because if you just go with the crowd, that works really great sometimes, but it's not profitable in the long run if you're always with the crowd, because eventually you get into slow action and the crowd always loses. The crowd does not do well in the slow action. Well, I don't know if I'm going to get filled here at 22.5. This looks to me like one of those things where after I get filled, they'll probably tick down for another tick or two, but okay, awesome. Whew. All right. But just seeing that iceberg there at +4 was enough to make me think that I should probably take it off. Well, you expose yourself to criticism doing it. Yeah, totally. And especially when you're tilting, when you're doing poorly, right? It kind of makes it worse. Because you're sitting there like, oh, everybody thinks I'm so stupid. And especially when you do really, really poorly and you can see other people doing really well. And you're like, oh, man. We expose ourselves to criticism just being on the internet. Right. Totally. I mean, that's one of the things that's nice about live streaming, though. I think that people feel, when you can see me and you can hear me and it's live and you can interact with me, I think that people are a little bit more, it feels a little bit more real, And, I don't think that we see nearly as much toxic behavior as maybe some other platforms. Like if I was just recording these and putting these to YouTube, you ever gone and read some of the comments that get put on YouTube? I mean, I really don't care what people comment. You could go on YouTube and just spam the crap out of whatever you want on my YouTube videos. It's totally cool. But some of the comments that I get, well, some of them are just obvious spam, but some of them are like, what are these people on? Where are they getting this nonsense from? See, now you're getting a decent amount of iceberging on the offer at 22.5. Well, there is some significant activity in Treasuries, I would say, this morning. I don't know if we're done, but there was a range there and it's +4 and there's iceberging there. I think that it's wise until we decide that it's a trend day to take it off there. But the E-mini just looks super positive. So I'm definitely going to keep my eye out for a long here in the E-mini. See what Treasuries do here. I wouldn't mind if they pulled back to 23.5. They had one of those 2-tick pushes where it left a gap in the one range chart. And I've noticed that there's a tendency to want to go back up to those. So I'm keeping an eye out for that now. Man, it was interesting reading that thing because I thought the guy had a good point, but as always, I always feel like, oh, it's more complicated than that, right? Because, and he didn't say anything that was wrong. Let me just be clear. In fact, he kind of covered this thing, but just maybe not in the way that I look at it. It's like you have to be independent. So you don't want to be following other people for your trades. You know, like you go and chat, like you take a trade and then you're going in chat to see if other people took it or if they're getting out, you know, and like that influences you and you need to stick to your strategy. But on the split side of it, like you need to talk to people. Like it's just not normal for a person to put this much effort into something and just be completely alone and not collaborate with people. It's not healthy for you and you're probably going to go crazy. And you're not going to have any like emotional support, and like the emotional support is huge, right? And hopefully you have a really understanding significant other. I think that my wife is pretty good with this. I don't think that she hears too much about the individual moves, but she totally listens and understands. There you go. See, so there's another tick. So whereas it's like when you get an iceberg on an edge like that, it's kind of unsure, but a lot of the time there's at least 2 more ticks in it for whatever reason. I was like that for a short while when I first started trading Forex, follow the smart traders. Didn't work out too well, right? Well, I mean, it's not a bad strategy in theory, right? That, there's somebody out there that is successful doing this. I should just follow them. That can work. But there's 2 issues with it. Number one is that for any one given strategy, there is only so much space in the market for it. If it's a really good strategy, eventually people are going to find it and they're going to start trading it too. So you have to be faster. So then at that point, it's like, are you fast enough and as good at trading that strategy as they are to be able to do it, right? And if you're waiting for them to post it in chat, you're probably not going to be fast enough, right? And then I'm feeling like on the ball today, but I just had one of those alpha wave interruptions there and I just completely lost my train of thought, and that was really bizarre. Anyways, so there's only so much room in the market for any one particular strategy. So that's the first thing. But then the second thing is that the switches, and really the switches is the real problem. Switches is the real problem. The market will change on you. And how do you know that trader is going to react to it correctly? I think that it's that really profitable trader that's been doing it for a really, really long time and has a really consistent strategy, that's the guy that's going to have a really hard time when his strategy doesn't work anymore. You know what I'm saying? So you get a lot of people that do really well for a year or two, and then the market changes and they don't know how to adjust. That's why I really like reading the order flow, because we're not saying that there's like a set signal. Like, I'm catching things, and I know some signals that are working in this market, but I also know that it's changed and that it's been like the exact opposite at times. And there's a lot still trading here, 21.5 and 22 as well. Like that 5K into 22. Well, and there's 5K into 21.5 as well. That's interesting. How are you doing trading last month, Uzi? That is, it seems like he's been doing pretty good, but there were a couple of frustrating days this past month. Wasn't there, buddy? Yesterday was really frustrating for me. Now, if we just count Treasuries, that trade that I took there out, cancels out yesterday's nonsense, but it was still, I felt really bad about it. It kind of got me down yesterday. Man, they're still going. They're still going. I don't know. Part of me is like, yeah, I thought there was a good chance that we would go down to the low, and that's why I moved my target down there. But there's a part of me that says, hey, there's no way for you to have known that it was going to immediately go down there, and you saw a potential pivot, and so you took the profit, and it's okay. But there was at least 3 more in it. I guess 3 more isn't a huge deal. Oh yeah, so Ace did show us some stats one time, is my recollection. We're a little bit better at that. So that was kind of one of the things I do like, that the YouTube has become more of the chit chat, and I feel like we got a good thing going in YouTube. Don't get me wrong. So I'm not saying don't use the YouTube or anything like that, but there's a lot of things about Discord that are like way better than the YouTube chat. Like being able to post the pictures and stuff. Lots of nothing days since the market is kind of changing over into the chop season. Last month was solid. The beginning of this month was a little rough. Yeah, so kind of sounds like you're having the same experience I am. You're getting so much of this, like, well, even today, like, if I can bring this over. Okay, pretty good trend down, right? Pretty good trend down. I'm happy with that trade, even though I took it off early. But there's this, and it's doing it again, and it did it up here. This is a rangy, choppy market. They're having, and I think what happens is there are less participants, but there are still big players that need to move it in one direction. And so they have to be a little bit more patient and tricky to get their fills. And so it has to go back and forth like that. And that's kind of why I think we still got to be careful, even though it feels like, yeah, this is trend down, like gangbusters, let's just do it. But then this kind of action, a little bit of a move back up, three or four ticks, just because, starts to become a little bit more likely, because it's just the choppy season. It's interesting that there was that huge just really big delta move on the uptick downtick. Is kind of interesting. not last Friday, but the Friday before I traded like a dipshit. Thankfully, I didn't get whammied, but I was pretty disappointed in myself. Oh, wrong. Me too. I was up 4K and lost most of it. Oh, that's ouch. Owie. Yeah. I tell you what, the best trade I ever made. Well, there were some trades that I made on Sim that were like when I was doing it on the spreadsheet that were fucking amazing. Okay. Like I remember when silver was having its move to its all-time highs, and I bought it all the way on, got a really good move on the way up, and I saw the top of it and I sold it at the top and rode it all the way down, and it was fucking amazing. Because you were making several $1,000s on one contract in one day, just swinging it. And there was hardly any backflow. It was just amazing. That was my best trade. Okay. But my best trade when I was on my live account was I took a short after FOMC. And I got such a good move out of it. And I think that I made $400 on one contract. Yep, it was $400 on one contract. And then I gave up like half of it. Like I took the profit, and then I took other trades that were big losers. And that was really bad, because after that, I think that kind of shook me a little bit. And then after that, things started to get really rangy, and then I started losing every day. And it was so bad. Those fractals can be scalped. I was introduced to this by someone who trades live 3 contract blocks. That shit Friday, I was down just under $1,000. Oh, yeah. I remember the Friday that you were talking about, too. What was it that was going on that day, though? It was the 5th, right? April 5th. Yeah, there was a really big move up. That's right, I remember. And you kind of missed the beginning part of it, and yeah, those are frustrating. It's kind of weird how it just keeps how it goes and goes. Like it gets progressively worse, doesn't it? Oh, he was saying those fractals can be scalped. I was introduced to this by someone who trades live 3 contracts, but he meant 3,000. You're talking about what I call them zippers, because it looks like a zipper. Yeah. So I have messed around with those a lot, and you can definitely scalp them for like a tick. But the problem with them, especially in ZN at least, is that it's very often the case that one side or the other doesn't get filled. Like you're going to have, well, so in a situation like this, it's around 21.5, right? So if your offer, you've got 5,000 in front of you. If your bid, you've got 5,000 in front of you or so. And most of the volume is trading there at 21.5. So it's like, okay, I could sell 22, and if I get filled, hopefully it's still in the range and I can take it off right here. But then what'll happen to you is you can take that and maybe you get it 3 times, but then there's going to be the one time where you get filled and they immediately trade this and this and all, all of a sudden you're down 2 or 3 ticks. And when you're only taking it 1 tick, when you factor in the commissions and everything, you've got to be right a good 70 to 80% of the time. And the biggest issue that I've had with these things is that if we say here's a zipper, which way is it going to come out? And everything that I've tried, and I've like spent a lot of time trying to find some sort of statistical edge about which way it's going to go. And everything that I've tested comes out 50-50. Helps if you have a good data feed and have had a number of different trading ladders and all have showed different data. I gotcha. So you're saying that, so maybe you're saying that there's maybe a spread trade going on in there, and if depending on things that I'm seeing in the other instruments that are probably really difficult for me to notice all three at the same time to see where the trade is, to know when it's okay to sell it there or buy it there. I mean, there's got to be, I mean, the thing is you know there's a way to trade it. Like, there has to be a way to trade it or they wouldn't happen. Somebody's taking a trade there, right? You always got to wonder, especially like some of these icebergs at the top and bottom, you know? And like you get this flush of volume and it's like, where does this come from? Like, if they're getting slaughtered every time, why do the robots do it? They give them the fills. So this is like a great example. You would have been selling 22. It went through you. It might go for more. I think that if I had taken that, I would be scratching out at 22.5. Well, that was a lot. That traded there at 22.5. That's interesting. And they pushed right through it. The E-mini did move up a little bit more. Okay, so they pushed through it, but it went off again. It kind of left a little gap there. There was enough of volume behind that and everything, especially when you have a zipper and it really pushes out of it strongly. I haven't seen that in a while, but that's enough to make me think that the trend might have changed. There might be a possibility that we do see that 23.5. And I'm still eyeing the E-mini. It's coming to the top of the hour. I'm kind of looking for some of that volume that bought there to come back. Some will aggregate, some will show a block buy, and at the same time a different platform is showing the same size selling. Some will have size imbalance. Yeah. Well, if I changed the amount of time between when the current trades column reset, it would definitely show me different stuff in those kinds of areas. For me personally, though, it's like I do so much better when it's trending. Anytime I see a zipper like that, that is a warning sign to me that I might want to think about getting out there, because it can always turn there. At that point, it's a 50-50. And so then you have to start doing the calculations, and it's like, okay, so is there enough downside if it breaks down to the downside off of this zipper versus the upside of this zipper to justify taking a 50-50 trade? Because if you're only going to take one tick out of it, it's probably not worth it. See, the E-mini is coming off. Like, since it's been coming off, we've turned. This in Treasuries reminds me of yesterday. Because yesterday we had a decent move off of the open down, and then it pivoted, and I thought maybe it could go for more, but it did pivot. Yesterday I got it at a really good spot. Today, yeah, could be better. Those two, 3 ticks matters, I think. When it's 2 ticks, I kind of have to be like, maybe I should have. But now, see, it's moving back up aggressively. It's a pretty strong bid at 22.5. And that's what it did yesterday. But if you recall yesterday, they like retraced the whole move, and then they went through the beginning of that move for a few ticks, and then it turned around and they really sold it. And the longer term trend is down. So I don't think that I want to get in on this buy here. I think I want to be really patient and really look for a sign that they've like really overextended and possibly try going short again. Okay, so something happened there at 23. So they tried buying it up, and there was actually maybe some stops at 23.5, but they immediately sold it back down. The E-mini kind of ticked up a little bit. Euro USD sets a double top today, rotates back lower. By the way, I saw a thing earlier. I missed it. I didn't read it, but that's saying that the Saudis had increased the number of treasuries that they had bought, which I thought was interesting. Is there anything? I know there's lots of earnings going on, and I'm interested in that too. I know Morgan Stanley did well. I'm hoping that bumps up the banking sector. I was looking at it. I'll show you since we're waiting here, and I need something to occupy myself to not want to click. Here's my chart. Oh, that's not my chart. That is not my chart. Oh well. I'm too lazy to sign in. Goldman. You see that? That's possible cup and handle pattern. And obviously it was a really good buy down here, but given where they are on a relative basis, if I can scroll out here. Okay, there is the all-time high. So there's a good 40% in it for an all-time high. And I think that they could get up to 400. Or not 400, 360, something like that. And they're changing their business. Right now, Goldman's not doing very well because their business is all trading, and there's not as much money in trading anymore. And so they are moving over to try and get into the consumer banking business. And I know the guys that are making this stuff. They're good. They're going to do a good job. And they're going to offer competitive products. So I think that even though things look really shitty for Goldman right now, and they might actually come back down to this 19 area because of the earnings. If the market sells again, we're going to be back down here, if not back down here. But I'm liking the chart that it's making. I'm liking what it's doing. I wish when I had seen it at the beginning of 2018 and I was like, oh, it's awfully high here and everybody's talking about it, maybe I should take it off. Should have done it. But I said, no. I shouldn't be messing with this one. This is a long-term trade. I should be keeping this for years. I've kept it for years and need to keep it for years. Should have taken it off, reinvested lower, man. Could have made tons more. Like I saw the exit, the potential exit, and I don't know. It's a bad thing to try and start taking a long-term trade and then start making short-term trades on it, but I still feel like I should have done it. I know better than selling the lows when the markets are not aligned. Yeah. So Today, by the way, so another thing we should point out is the spreads are fairly flat today. So here's 23.5. That was kind of one of the spots where I said maybe we could take it. Oh my. I guess I have to. Actually. So I'm a little concerned by this that I see here in the 5-year. See this size right here? I think that the trade is to sell 23.5. But there's just that. And then beyond that, and then look at these. And the spreads seem kind of flat to me. I think I should just be a little bit more patient. Yeah, see, that would have gone through me, and the 24 pulled. There was definitely people there looking to do it, though. Well, let's stay focused here, because that could just be like if you took it long, you'd got to be thinking about taking it off at 23.5, and that means that they're going to go through this one for 2 ticks too. Okay. So they're showing 8 now at 24. I don't know. All of those things that I just said still apply, but it's giving me a stronger signal here at 23.5. And it's in the right spot. There was some selling here in the 5-year too. Oh, there's Ace. Good morning. NQ is nonstop on the bid. They were off by 2 ticks. Bonds went lower first. Usually when that happens, the notes hold lows. I know that. And I still sold 21 like an idiot. Oh, yeah. Lucas says this is my 5th month trading live. 4th month ended at break even. This month I am positive. So far I only traded 1 lot since I'm learning, so obviously not up by a ton. And as long as you're breaking even, dude. If you can break even, you're 90% of the way there. My headphone just popped down there. Okay, so it filled me. It's going through me a little bit. It's not like I'm not like panicking yet, but I don't think that that's good. So far, having 3,000 stack on me, that's not good. First 3 months were losers. Oh, darn. But you might be more of a range bound person. Well, I think when you're new and you get trends moving against you, If you hadn't seen them before, they really take people by surprise, you know? I mean, that's why trend days do what they do, because they take people by surprise. And they just keep screwing people over, and people just keep taking it. And so it busts them over and over and over again. See, that E-mini is moving up. It's not giving me like a spot that I feel like I can buy it at. Ace is looking short at 29.20, huh? I don't know. So I see the short here for sure, but it's not. I would much rather see that short and then have it come back to a certain spot and go long there instead, you know? It's like this is just gangbusters long. I have a hard time fighting that one. Well, I suppose I can be nimble. Okay, so they took out 24. I'm gonna have to say that this trade's not working out, so. Interesting that treasuries are moving up as strongly as they are, though. Why is the sim not hitting? There we go. I remember one trend day. Ooh, okay, so there's 496 there. I remember one trade day above any other kept trying to fade it and got burned 4 times. When I finally decided to go long, it turned and got burned again. Learned so much from that day. That's how they get you. I don't know. I had a strong signal there at 23.5. I only lost a tick. I think I managed that trade correctly, so I'm not. I don't feel too bad about that one. Man, this E-mini's just buying the TF out of this. It seems like they're just buying it too much before they open, doesn't it? There is some shorting going on there, though. Look at this. Let's reset our DOMs. Interesting that the 15 at 120 125 there's 156 and it's less than there is at 121. Okay. And there's Treasuries is doing something there too. Saying, Seth, now that we've stopped you out, maybe you can take a short here again. No, but that wouldn't make sense if the treasuries are if the equities are going to sell here. They're going to push up further. And there's still 7K at 24.5. Okay. maybe the NQ hits an all-time high today. Are they that close from an all-time high? I don't really watch the other indexes other than the ES. I should. They're really buying this. I think I'm taking a spot. I think that we could get a little bit of a pullback here. But the trend is definitely up. So even if this works out, I'm gonna be like super nervous, like trying to get it. you know. No, I'm not getting filled there at 29.21. I can see the level 2 doing things to try and get people to buy 29.21. Well, that time that worked a little bit better. You notice I'm still at the back of the queue though. Okay. I don't know if that one makes sense. One of these two things are going to be wrong. So that's why I'm cautious about this. Like this amount of volume going through at 24, them having the push up and not being able to make it, and all this other stuff. That looks like a short to me in the treasuries. But and I guess I'm not really very confident about what I get in the E-mini, so probably I should be. Well, they are touching that high again, but it's not a ton. So now they're really hitting into 23.5 in treasuries, and there's a iceberg there at that one. That kind of gives me pause. Somebody's still buying it. Well, if they bust through it, they could come down and maybe even try a new low, but look at the equities. Well, not quite sure what to make of all this right now. Okay, I don't like that uptick in the E-mini. Oh, you know what? We should remember that 24 was where there was like a block buy. So I guess it makes sense that there's a lot of distribution around it. should change this so that we can see our, oops, like that and like that. There we go. See, they're threatening that high. Actually, it went bid for a second. What was that over here? Oh, the CB ticked down. And these two didn't go. 10 minutes to go till the open. Well, so on the E-mini, I wasn't necessarily taking on a volume imbalance. Live action was saying, I'm thinking on your dome, order imbalance signals might get you upside down with the rational rotational characteristic of the ES. Well, when I look at it in ES, I'm looking for spots where throughout a range of numbers, I'm seeing a lot trade. See that right there is not. So we did see that in through here. But then they're still kind of extending up a little bit. So it probably wasn't enough. Someone's still buying in treasuries though. And they're saying NQ is really close to the high, which I didn't, I mean, I knew that she said that earlier, but I didn't know when I took the trade. Okay. Oh, it might just stop me out. Boo. And treasuries are still bidding up. What's with that? Okay. Okay, Phil there. Yeah, they stopped me out. Boo. Okay. Wow, so much at 24.5. Well, they're above yesterday's range now. So I think that the play now in E-mini is you either will have a reversion back to the previous day's point of control, which is somewhere around 29.12, or it's going to be a trend up day. Right now, they are just buying it up and acting like this is just a trend up day. Wonder if it's soybeans. Yeah, never watched that. I've pulled it up on a chart before, but I almost never look at soybeans. So that's interesting that you're looking at that. China land sales revenue growth collapsed to negative 33% in quarter one from 11.8% in quarter four of 2018, the biggest drop since the financial crisis. And I'm getting a decent bid on top of me at 24.5 now. So this is odd that we're getting treasuries are pushing up as strongly as they are, and the E-mini is pushing up. Normally, if they're just going to be gangbusters higher, and that's really what they're doing right now in the E-mini, the treasuries would sell quite hard. But they're not. There's like almost no correlation. Okay, I don't like that. E-mini starting to do something here though. 4 minutes to the open. Oh, that's interesting that they stopped pretty much right at where I stopped out at. I thought that we were higher than that. That's interesting. So having 3,000 on top of me at 25 isn't good. Right now, this chart looks like almost exactly like yesterday. But yesterday, the E-mini eventually sold. The E-mini eventually did sell, yeah. But they weren't very correlated yesterday either. So you are getting a lot on the offer above us. Greens are super easy to trade. I don't know. I say that out loud 10 times, there is no correlation. They don't rip around like other contracts on the open. Yeah. I mean, normally there is a decent correlation between treasuries and equities, and it's not so much that you can make a ton of money off of it, but it is enough that you can kind of get a little bit better of a feeling about which way things are trending. But yesterday and today, there is literally no correlation. Like they start to show it a little bit, and then there's nothing. There's nothing. So the open started with some strong selling. I'll smash it. When Smash the Bid said super easy, I'm like, what is he talking about? I think it was talking about that Koreans are super easy to trade. Well, I know that Koreans are a little bit quieter. maybe not as much drama as some of these, especially as the E Mini, right? And the E Mini is the drama queen. So 25 is stacking pretty hard, and 24.5 is not giving in yet. I think they're gonna wait for the 5-year to do something. Yeah, they're kind of reacting to the level 2 changes in the 5-year, which is actually kind of reacting to the swings in the E-mini. Oh, jeez. Okay. So why did they do that? That's weird. Okay. What's going on here? You know what? Just as soon as I took that, now I'm seeing things. Maybe I need to take a step back here. Let's just let this one ride and see what it does first. That 26 though that's odd. But I knew as soon as it ticked up there and that price was big that was no good. That we were gonna tick up. Okay. Well, the E-mini it did end up doing what I thought I was going to do, right? I just had the timing all wrong. I don't think they realize what time they woke up at. You guys got a whole hour to get ready, kids. Okay. Oh, what am I looking for? 29.15? Maybe even lower than that. Maybe even the low of the day. The overnight low, which was at 29.28 area or so. Sorry, 29.08. Okay. Z's on yesterday's low. Is that yesterday's low? Yes, you are correct, sir. Good observation. See, before I was like, this is like yesterday and this is a trap and yada, 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 right? Now it's like something's different. But I have a hard time buying treasuries here. Now that they're at basically yesterday's low. So now what do we got here? So I'm seeing a peak in the profile at 27.5. That's a good target. And that's a really good target, actually. So there might be a little bit more upside in this. Then if they continue through that, then we could potentially be looking at a trend up day. Now over here in the E-mini, they're really selling this shit. But I'm not sure if this is where I should... Well, this is where it's like, is it done, or is it done enough that I should take it off and then maybe later try another short higher? I think that there's more in it, though. The way that the treasuries are acting is like that there's more in this. Still bumping it up. It's still going, not a new low yet, but it sure looks like they're gonna make one. Yep. Okay, I have to move this again, right? There's so strong of a down impulse in the E-mini that I think that there's a strong possibility of a really strong pullback, but I also think that it's probably going to trend down all day. So that's why I'm like, oh, do I take it off here? I take it off here, and then it's going to come back up to here, and I can take it short again. You know what I'm saying? Ramses Pimchfire followed us on D Live. Thank you very much. If I talk too much, tell me to shut up. No, you're fine. Remember, I don't care about the YouTube chat, and you guys can spam it with whatever you want. It's totally cool. The more activity that we get, the better. And if you have something that's like super serious, or you want to share like an analysis, it's probably better to use the Discord for that one. So then you can post a picture and all that sort of stuff. And the Discord is less noisy. Yeah. Oh, wait, I am posting in the wrong channel. Delete. Wrong channel. I put that stuff in the spread channel. Okay. It's funny, when I look at my 1000 tick chart on the ES, this move does not look that big to me. Okay, treasuries are running into some more significant resistance here. Sometimes this indicator that I have that shows me the opening range doesn't work correctly. There we go. So we're above the open, which was at 25. They didn't quite touch 27.5 yet. E-mini maybe not done. You're making me want to trade ES? Well, don't blame me. Blame Ace. This is all his fault. 6 points locked in so far. Wait, did you take it? So did you take it again at 22? Is that what happened? Oh, man. It totally could have done it. Okay. Okay, so now you are getting some crescendo buying here in treasuries. Yes, okay. So I'm trailing it 8 ticks, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes. Well, search should start from there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And like giving up 8 ticks on a pullback is like, seems like too much to me. Ace trades, I didn't have time to post. I didn't want to look like a poster announcing it afterwards. It's fine, dude. So it's like, I think we were talking about this before you came in, but I really believe that it's better to focus on methods and mindset and strategies and that sort of thing rather than specific trades, because, you know, seeing the trades that other people make, can really affect you, and it can make it difficult to trade because we're tribal people, and it's hard to see everybody else doing something and not want to act. So it's totally cool, in my opinion, if you caught a good trade, to say, okay, or even if you caught a bad trade, to say, okay, I did this, and this is why, or why it was a good trade or a bad trade. You know, like what I learned from it. I think that's like way more useful to people than just saying, oh, you should buy it here for this random reason. Now, for me, I kind of, we've been at this a while. I kind of got a feel for when you're going to say where you want to take it and everything. So I kind of get it. And it's been really helpful to me because one of the things that has helped me to not be like totally screwing up on the ES is the time. And you take the trade, some of it is based on the time. And I think that's really smart. Yeah, they are really nervous up here. So at 26.5, there was some stops. And now they're below it. But it's not like a super strong thing. There's still that 7K at 27, and they've been kept pushing up whenever we've been seeing that. So, and the E-mini is the E-mini is starting to go sideways a little bit. The E-mini is starting to go sideways a little bit. They did go down and touch these single prints in this 2913 area that I was looking for. This is like the first target. The next target is the overnight low at 2908. And if we're going to go down there, I think Treasuries could have more in it. Like that 27.5, I think is a key level. I saw it earlier. I was like, oh, but it's only 3 ticks, so I didn't mess with it. See, I don't think that size at 27 is going to stay. See, some of it is already pulled off. And the E-mini is threatening new lows, but it's kind of been going sideways here, so that it might not actually do it. So when they come back from it and then they come down here like this, then it would be like, for sure they're going to go for a new low. But the way that it is right now, like you got all these people that are looking to get fills on the next break. And that's not necessarily, that's more bid liquidity than we've seen. That might actually be a sign that it's time to start thinking about getting out. But let's see how they react to it. They are still pushing. Okay. Well, they pushed through that one at 29.1250 pretty convincingly. Okay, and then it's kind of turning up. So I think I'm going to take, well, nope, it didn't quite do it. And I'm seeing more targets showing up down at 29.08 now. I think I should wait. Lucas, I sold 26.5, but had to exit. They freaked me out. I think the whole thing is freaky. Yeah, see there, the 27 now is pulled. Yeah. Oh, and the E-mini is really starting to sell now. It's kind of funny watching this kind of action because now when we're looking back on it on retrospect, granted, I did try selling it. I got stopped out. I sold it again. So it's not like we didn't see it. But at that time, it was not clear. Now it's like, oh man, what were people thinking buying it up there? You know what I mean? And on the same hand, What was I doing thinking selling it at 23 half? Could have bought that and made 8 to 10 ticks. Oh, we got 400, so I should move it again. Holy, okay, so there's 27 half. They're still getting stops and buying it and stacking behind it. My, oh my. Okay, so now you're looking at overnight high at 30. Oh, that's actually my stop. I didn't move it down. I forgot to move it. Fill me. Please, sir. I want to fill. Cool. What do you think? Did I do it right? Let it come back 8 ticks on me and then took it off? Or should I have seen them going through that liquidity and taking it off? I did see very clearly though a couple of spots. Oh, there's liquidity, they went through it, there's some liquidity. Now we're above it. That kind of seems like that was an exit signal. I probably could have gotten 29.12 if I had been paying more attention. And the treasuries did trade 27 and are coming off. So lots of people watching. So the word that I caught a runner must have gotten out. Oh man, that was a good trade. You know, like to me sometimes I just know like there's probability and risk reward and all of that, but then sometimes there's just like I really believe that it's going to move down from here, and I think that was kind of more of the latter. So for it to work out and to stick with it this time is I think a good thing. Okay, so there's a block sell there at 27. That's the biggest block sell we've seen. Or sorry, that's the first block sell that we've seen in the 10-year. It's really hard to short it here though. I don't know. Oh look, the E-mini's maybe going to go for another new low. Ace says that was a great trade. So Ace, did I trailing it behind me at 8 ticks and then taking it when it got there, is that the right way, or should I still be in it, do you think? I kind of feel like so the place where I'm kind of unsure. I mean, I think the plan was to trail it. So I stuck to the plan, but I'm thinking that it's probably possible for me to see it more. And given that the overnight low is likely, I think we can make a case that I should have held that. But how many ticks against you are we willing to hold it for, you know? So that's what I'm thinking. I'm going to need a lot more experience on it to make that decision. Okay, that was the right way when you add contracts, that then you would have left a few on still. Okay, sure. Well, I definitely see. I'm noticing. Oh, hold on a second. Look at that. 27.5 is pulling like maybe it's luring. Exactly. You took profit. That is why we are here. Okay, cool. Cool. I am noticing, though, in the E-mini, much like we get it in Treasuries, that they will come down to a low and you'll see a bunch of orders stacked on the low and there's kind of some liquidity. And then sometimes they just go right through it, and sometimes it kind of slows them down and causes them to reverse. So like you can, it's probably really hard to see it on stream, but right in there. Now let me clear that and use a smaller point. See that little point, that little yellow spot right there? There was kind of some buy liquidity and it caused them to buy it up. But then they almost immediately shoved it down again. Okay. So Ace says that he has a stop at 29.13 and a target at 29.06. Yeah, that makes sense to me. Because it's like they're going to make a new low and then pierce through it. Maybe for 8 ticks, and so you could at least get that. That makes sense. But it came back on me 8 ticks, so it's like, take it off. At least right now, I think that that's the right thing. I think as we get more experience, probably I can get a better idea of where it's going to stop. And so if we take 4, that was at 6. Was it? Yeah. No, sorry, it was at 14, I think. Where I got out. So there's a ton more. The thing that's crazy about that trade is I've been kicking myself because I feel like that some of my mini, well, here, I'll show you. We'll look at it. Let's look at it. Here's Chrome. Here's Jigsaw. Here's the past week. I think we need to go back further than that, though. I think we need to go back to March, I think, is when we've been messing with it. Yes, sir. Okay. And now just the E-mini. Okay. So you can see I've had a couple of days where it was really bad. And then I kind of changed things. Okay, so like this one, I felt like that was bad. That made me feel bad. And I think it makes me feel bad because the E-mini trades are worth so much more than the Treasury trades. Of course, when I trade it live, I'm going to do it with the micro, so it's going to be different. But gosh, I make so much more when I actually catch one that it more than makes up for losing like 6 or 7 times in a row. Like if I catch them like that, I don't even have to win 30% of the time. And I win way more than 30% of the time. You just kind of got to know when it's trending. That one, there was very clear selling on the open. I knew that it was going to trend lower because of the volume I saw in the open. That's interesting. Okay. Well, this was a good one. I learned a lot from that E-mini trade. But there's still this issue of the Treasuries. I don't know. I thought the E-mini was going to go down, but then I saw the signal in the Treasuries too. So that's just kind of like a signal to me that particular signal is just a trick right now. Well, if that is the case, what do I need to see here to take this? Well, it is at a spot that I thought we could maybe distribute around. And I am seeing a little bit of size stack at 25 there, which is a sensible place for it to come back to if it were to do that. The only issue is the E-mini might just keep going, and I haven't seen anything as a clear reversal pattern in the E-mini. So I think that I should just not touch it. And in fact, I actually am profitable on just my treasury trades, right? By a tick. By a tick. Okay. ZS short on low break at typical 2-point close, but after yesterday's big move and gap fill rejection, reasonable to assume downward continuations. Yeah. Oh, when he says ZS, I think he means Z's. No, or is he talking about? He's talking about something else. Is that soybeans? That's soybeans, right? Damn birds. Well, 27.5 is offer. Or sorry, bid. They're still stacking behind us a lot. I don't think that taking any kind of a short here is a good idea. Okay, here's the E-mini really pushing. So now here's where it's going to be like, is this going to overextend in some way, or is it just going to keep plowing through? So far, that doesn't look like an overextension to me. This action is really, really killing the... Wow. What, are you guys wowing at that little break lower in the E-mini? Wrong says he's out. Wait, what was your trade again? I forget. Were you long treasuries? I think he was long treasuries, wasn't he? Ah, look at that. 28 off bid. Whew, boy. Like, I've been sitting here being like, I don't know if I could take a spot here. Maybe I can short it. No. It's going up. So it's like, I see that right there, and that's just like, it's been doing that the whole time. So it might go again. It's actually showing a kind of a level break thing here at 28. What, are they going to go to the high of the day in treasuries? Okay, well, there's 06, so there was Ace's target. I don't know if he would get filled exactly at 06, but... That was 14 points. 14 points. Isn't it? How would we calculate this? It's... every 2 points is $100. So $700. Right? Well, $70 overall, right? On micros. When I look at that and I think about that, and I was like, okay, we held through all of that and it goes all the way down. And you got a pretty good trade and you made $50. And I'm sitting here thinking, for the amount of emotional effort that you put in there on that, is it really worth it? When it's like $100 or $1,000, it's totally worth it. But here, okay, something's changed here in the E-mini. Or sorry, in ZN, something has changed. the stacks are much more aggressive on the offer now than they were. And the E-mini did pull back. That might have been an overextension. And they were showing a level break at 28, weren't they? But this time of year, the level breaks have stopped working. I'm tempted to short it, but I really don't think it's a good idea to short, given the way that the trend has been and the amount of liquidity on the bid is so much. Wow. You got 8 points. You got 8 points into Treasuries? So did you go long at like 24 and a half? That's good. I'm having emotional issues here because I had a really great trade in the E-mini, and I am profitable in ZN, but I still don't feel good about what happened in ZN. I feel like I should have been able to catch like an 8-tick day in ZN. But the only reason why I didn't get an 8-tick day in ZN is because I took the trade in the E-mini. So I shouldn't feel bad about it, but it's like it's like I can't, for some reason I can't look past the number. It's dumb, but that's kind of what I'm thinking right now. Like I want to click. I want to short this in ZN still. I don't think that's a good idea. Oh, he got 8 points in ES. Oh, okay. Well, that's still good. Eight or more in ES, I think, is reasonable. If you're getting less than 8, then you just cotton noise, and that's a questionable strategy. I didn't notice that 10K there at 27.5. Okay, so here's the E-minis pushing down again. Oh my. There's a little bit of liquidity there stacking up at 29.09 though. You can keep an eye on that. It seems to me like there are some guys taking ZN short, but I'm not so sure that it's gonna. It's not good action for me. Like if the E-mini pushes down again, those guys are gonna get stomped out and slaughtered. But they probably have a good trade there. Pick the contract you will make the most in. You only have so much time unless you can manage multiple positions and have the account size where you won't go over your risk parameter. Yeah. Well, I mean, between the E-mini and the Treasuries, of course, the margin requirements are a little bit different and everything like that. But really, it comes down to like how much are you going to make or lose on a trade, right? So on this one, I'm going to lose 60 at the most. And this one, I could lose 100. So I could size it up if I was trading two, right? Then they would be equal, right? And then it's like, okay, they would be, the amount that you would make or lose should be about the same. Other than that, the E-mini tends to run, right? But the way that I've been trying to play it is the which one do I think is actually going to move? Because if I think that the E-mini is going to move, and I can see treasuries are potentially positioning for it, it's better to take the trade in the E-mini, because often what you get is the E-mini does go and the treasuries do go up, but the treasury will only go up like 1 or 2 points, and it's kind of like, well, that wasn't worth it. Now this one was a little bit different. That was a pretty strong move up when the E-mini started selling. Okay, see, there's some buying, a little more aggressive buying coming in on the E-mini now that they've kind of hit the technical level that they wanted to. That's another thing that I think is kind of interesting. I want to say puzzling, but I don't know if it's necessarily puzzling. It might not be a thing, but this move down in the E-mini isn't a huge deal. I mean, it sold, and it was a pretty spectacular sell and everything and all that, and there's a lot of volume, and so I think there's a good chance that they could continue throughout the day. But we're only just to like the pivot from the close of yesterday, so compared to yesterday, it's not a huge deal. And yet the treasuries just bought it like they seemed really panicked. Smash Up says that ZB is the best contract. Yeah. Well, let's qualify best, right? You can make the most money trading ZB, for sure. So that tick to commission ratio makes a big difference. And when it trends, it's good, and you can get good trades on it. But ZB likes to stop you out. They've got a way. They have their ways, and they get me every fucking time in ZB. I suppose if it was trending like that, then I would be okay in ZB, but any other time, it's just so bad. So bad. It's like, oh, here, I'll pull it over. It's this kind of shit right here. See this right here? Okay, we're moving down. It moves down 2 ticks. It moves down 2 more ticks, and then a 5th tick, and then it ticks up 3 ticks, and like really, really fast. And then it comes down and it goes another 7, right? And I'll be trading ZB, and I'll be thinking, oh, okay, oh, this is a sell. I should sell it here, and then I think, oh, it's going to keep going, and for some reason, it's always like right at that spot. I mean, here on the chart, it looks like it's a dumb idea to sell it there. Like if I'd catch it like right there on the break, maybe that would be okay or something, and hopefully I stayed out. But in ZB, I always seem to catch it the wrong spot, and it'll go 2 against me. I go, oh, oops, wrong spot, and take it off and stop out or whatever, and then it goes lower. I've had tough times in ZB. She's a tricky girl. Well, I think that, so here's another theory that I have. If I catch a really, really big one, it's probably best for me to just stop right there. So I think that I caught a really, really good one in the E-mini. I think that I should stop right there. So there's so many times where, like that time where I caught that $400 winner in ZN, and then I kept trading and I gave it up. It's like, if you got one that's that big, that's unusual, sure, there probably is more in it, but are you actually going to trade it correctly? It seems like when you do that well, there's something that kind of starts to hold you back. I suppose it depends on how you're making it. Like if I've made multiple good trades in Zen, then I think I should keep going. But here in this action, and it's kind of like I don't know how far it's going to go and stuff. I think it's best for me to just watch and see what happens. That's a lot. It's still trading up here, 28 now. That's a lot of cumulative delta short in the E-mini. I'm super... It makes me want to say that it's going to be a trend down day in the E-mini, but there's got to be some sort of a pullback at some point, right? And I don't actually know how far it's going to go. Oh. The mind games, guys. This is what can drive you crazy. Can drive you crazy. Ooh, I got a bunch of notifications. What's with this? Oh, good deal. Oh, I also had some likes on the posts. By the way, always, I don't talk about it very often, but really want to say thank you to the guys that contribute to the Patreon. It really makes me feel good knowing that what the charts that we've been posting on the Patreon have been so useful to people that we've been able to keep a good 20 subscribers now for almost a year and a half. It's really quite good. So I appreciate it. And if you haven't checked it out, check it out. Even if you don't do Patreon and you have no intention of contributing, because the stuff that I post becomes public after a week. So you can look at it in retrospect, and say, oh, okay, here it was saying this, he was thinking this, and here's how I can possibly use this. It's pretty cool. But let's generate it and see what it says today. I don't know if we get a new number. Let's see. And we should pull up the chart here too. Yeah, they were pushing up a little bit, but they gave it up quite easily. They seem to be really balanced around 5,200. Yeah, I haven't gotten a new value for a few days. But there has been some transactions, so that helps in Bitcoin. They still need to sell, but maybe if it comes up enough, you might get a situation where you make a higher low or something like that. Doge looks a little high right now. I think that they're going to come back down a little bit. ETC is doing something crazy. Let's check up in here. An old floor trader told me he knew a lot of guys that would just take 3 ticks on CB with a 20 a lot and call it a day. I figure that's close to 300K a year. Yeah, I have met a person that does that. Well, actually, I don't. So John had, John Bottomley, he had a guy that he was talking to. I think he had come into his room because John, I don't know if John still does it, but John did have a room. And that guy, that's what he would do. And they explained the strategy to me too. I don't remember the specifics of it, but it was basically like he had moving average, and if it went 2 ticks above the moving average or whatever, he'd wait for it to come back and then buy it and take it for 3 ticks with a I forget however many tick stop. And his win rate on it was something like 70%. And he was trading it with a big lot. And they were talking about it. I was like, that sounded like a good thing. When I tried looking at it, I didn't quite see how it worked, but like he had the stats and everything to back it up. It was really cool. All right, let's type here. Okay. Like, is this more like half of 300K? Well, if you're taking 3 ticks on 20 lot, you're talking about 90, 180. You're talking about 1,800, almost $2,000 a day, right? You know, if you make on average, let's just say that on average they make 3 ticks a day, then yeah, that's pretty damn good. Of course, you have to factor in bad days and good days, but that's why I say if it was average 3 ticks a day, that's pretty good. Pretty good. Okay, well, it is 8:24 For some reason, everybody decided that they wanted to do a load test like first thing in the morning, even though they didn't say anything about it until like late in the day and nobody's going to be ready. But I'm going to get down there now. I'm going to do my thing and we're going to try to make it work. So I think that now is a good time for me to leave, get the kids to school just a little bit early so that I can get to work with a few minutes to spare. Good trade. Even my my trades in treasuries were pretty good. That spot where I was saying, hey, maybe we should short it like at 27.5. Well, I don't know if I would have held on to that, but you could have made at least a tick off of it. I don't know if it can move down much more than that, but we'll see. The Treasuries definitely reacted to that move in the E-mini, but we're still holding 29.04. So until it breaks 29.04, it's not like a huge deal if they push through this one. Yep. Live action says, good day, Seth. Good conversation. Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it. Like I was saying, a lot of this is just about the camaraderie, not necessarily sharing traits. And so I'm glad that you've joined us in this room. I've enjoyed talking to you the past couple of days. So thank you very much. I will catch you guys all tomorrow, Thursday. Got some numbers tomorrow and something else that's going on tomorrow. Oh yeah, aren't we going to get the Mueller report maybe tomorrow? So I think we'll have some interesting stuff going on tomorrow. In the meantime, though, stay profitable, friends.